Hello you beautiful bastards and welcome back to Retro Game On. Today I'm taking a break from the AAA releases I've been reviewing the last couple of months and I'm checking out something more obscure. Obscure releases are definitely more fun for me to review and play, and today's video is about Darklight Conflict, released in 1997, developed by Rage Software and published by EA. Funnily enough, I found an antiqued online review from GameSpot for the MS-DOS version in the May of 1997, and that worried that the game would fall into obscurity because it wasn't aligned with any major sci-fi series. The reviewer was totally right too. I personally had not heard of this game at all when I found it, which of course prompted me to buy it. It's a space combat simulator, which has a scope quite unexpected for a near-launch PS1 game. But hey, that's my freaky floating voice to dig into, not my ugly mug. Let's delve in. Hey there. Hopefully my voice is not too freaky nor floaty to make you want to leave. Darklight Conflict is quite ambiguous about its storyline, since it's conveyed in a speechless and textless intro cutscene. The gist of it goes like this. You're quite a hot shit human jet fighter, and since you just can't seem to keep your missiles in your pants, you're abducted by aliens to fight for them. They're the Repton race, and they're at war with the super evil Ovon race. And yes, had to go to Wikipedia to confirm that storyline. Having said all that though, the fact that the Reptons are kidnapping humans and biologically altering them to fight raises questions about who the bad guys really are. Oh, did I not mention that they biologically alter you? Because they totally do. Grey arseholes. Well, I'm sure the cutscenes would have been quite specky in the day. It does a crap job of conveying what it's supposed to. Oh well, this game isn't a cutscene, so let's stop fretting on that point. As stated by my ugly mug, Darklight Conflict is a space combat simulator, mostly played in the first person as the third person view sucks, but we'll get to that in a second. You carry out missions for the Reptons that include killing Ovons, mining asteroids, fetch missions, manning turrets, and even more killing of Ovons. That part of the game is constant, no matter what you have to do. Expect bloody regiments of Ovons to keep rocking up. Now, this game is quite fun when you consider the scope of the vast levels, along with the different ships you can fly mixed in with a long list of available weapons. Having said all that though, this game is unreasonably unforgiving. It's super easy to die by cheap deaths, and it can get frustrating real quick. While the first person HUD is absolutely brilliant, and I'll tell you why in a second, it's quite restrictive of its view, and bad at notifying you to the fact that you're being shot at. There isn't much of an audio or visual cue, unless they're shooting at you from right in front of you. If you change to the third person view for a better scope of things, that HUD disappears altogether, making it more or less useless, unless you want to gape at the best spaceships late 90s polygons have to offer. The thing is, there isn't much health on each craft, but instead a shield that lasts quite a while. The trade-off however, is that the shield isn't activated until you push and hold down the O button. Since the shooting buttons are the X and square keys though, it's quite hard to steer these ships and keep shooting as well as holding down the shield all at the same time. Believe me, that's what I tried to do constantly when I was first playing this. What ensues is them shooting at you, yourself holding down the shield button waiting for them to stop so you can shoot back, and rinse and repeat. This turn-by-turn combat style gets frustrating and feels slow after a while, especially when you're whizzing all over the place. The enemy doesn't fly in straight lines at all, and it's quite a cat and mouse affair to line them up in your sights when they're on screen for maybe 2 seconds before they radically change direction again. The handling of the spacecraft is actually quite good considering you can only use the digital buttons, so it's a shame that enemy AI is kinda shite to ruin it. The HUD does deserve commendation though, as it's quite well laid out and helpful, only being hampered by the eccentric AI. There's 3 3D arrows that point to enemies, allies and objectives, which is useful, but my favourite part is that it will actively create a line pointing to enemies you gotta blow up. While feeling a million times sci-fi, it's also super helpful as all the ships flying around look the same, which is to be expected since it's an early PS1 game. The developers obviously saw that hurdle coming and fixed it with something cool, and I totally respect that. The environments are quite large, and while I didn't actively test it, it seems you can fly in any direction for quite a while. Just don't expect to see any landmarks if you do so. Each quadrant is linked by these Stargate-like portals, and there are plenty of asteroid belts and whatnot to populate the vast expanses of space. In between missions based around zapping Ovons, there are missions where you have to use a tractor beam to transport things around. It's quite a nice gameplay mechanic really, kinda like a tractor beam in Star Trek. So, the missions that incorporate those always involve some Ovons rocking up anyway, so it's not like you get any break from the gunplay, but I think it's cool they included it nonetheless since they didn't really have to. The other main mechanic included is manning a turret, which is actually quite fun. In those, you can easily hold down the shield more constantly while shooting too, so these missions are quite easy and making them the only breath of fresh air you're entitled to, human maggot. Everything is tied together by a password system. Ah yes, I know, crumble crumble right? Well, the fact that there is no memory card saving feature is a bit sad for a PS1 game, but in their defense, a password system is well implemented. Plus, I'm sure there would have been people buying PlayStations for the first time and not getting memory cards straight away, which would have made this game sort of perfect for those transitioning to a world where Sony squeezes extra dollars out of you by using their own memory card formats. When you fail a level, you're taken straight to the main menu if you didn't hit pause or restart level quick enough. The great thing is though, is that the PlayStation retains what level you're playing, so when you enter the password screen, the password is actually there and ready to go. All the letters that are used for the passwords are carefully selected too, so there are no letters that look the same as each other which would lead to confusion, like V and U. Having said that though, it's a shame they didn't keep the password system and introduce a memory card saving function as well. The graphics are the highlight of Darklight Conflict, as I couldn't find a single way to fault it. The environments would have been breathtaking at the time. Whether you were fighting in front of a sun or within a destructible asteroid belt, the environments don't feel limited or restrictive at all. There are other crafts flying around minding their own business to really set the scene, and the HUD plainly looks awesome as I noted before. All of this is supported by fantastic particle effects and lighting, none of which slows down the frame rate at all. This is all mixed in with a fantastic soundtrack. A lot of the music is light techno, set to a soothing mood as you fly around the galaxy. It's quite varied too, with each song going for quite a long time, and the overall setlist didn't seem to end. It's not very often I want to hear a game soundtrack after playing a game, but this certainly stood out to me as special. Darklight Conflict was a surprising game considering I'd never heard of it and only paid something like $5 for it, but it has a lot working against it. I really tried to like this game more, but the cheap deaths from the stunt plane enemies really was a deal breaker. And the fact is, this game has over 50 missions. The balance of difficulty feels too high considering the vast amount of gameplay available. I feel that they should have toned it down so you could more easily progress, since there is just so much to play. Having said all of that though, this is definitely not a bad game. I should lastly add that this was also available on the Sega Saturn, as well as MS-DOS, which was a bit weird since it was after Windows 95, but whatever. Hey retro gamers, and thank you so much for watching. The question of the day is, what's your favourite game based on a sci-fi license? I actually don't have a personal answer for this question, so I look forward to your answers. Anyway, I'll just use this time to go on about the new retro forum, Retro Oz, which you should totally check out and become a member of. The link is in the description. Otherwise, have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.